Hi, and welcome to the Senior Network. I'm your host, Greg Fulton, along with Debbie Lyons, my co-host.
Good to see you.
You too. We're back here at Keith's Funeral Home again. Nice to be here.
And
we're joined today. We have a special guest too I want to talk about. William Wilds and Travis Kynard. Yes, Kynard.
Well, I can say that because that's my daughter-in-law.
That's how you know that so well.
Exactly.
And they are with Pruitt Home Health. Glad to have you.
Appreciate the opportunity.
I'm excited especially to talk with them because I've grown up with Neil, who's their owner.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And his parents forever and ever and ever, I think. You know, so it's
Still
really
family owned.
It really is. It's a lot of fun. You guys have interesting things going on.
They do.
A lot.
And tell us a little bit. I know before the break we were talking about rehospitalization. I know that's a big thing these days, and about how home health comes into play to help that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hospital readmissions, they cost everybody a lot of money, and they cost the patients a lot of time. We always want the patient in the home. That's where they feel the most comfortable.
Sure.
So just last year alone, readmissions cost like the Medicare, Medicaid about $17 billion. So it's a huge cost and concern to the hospitals and the primary care providers. So we want to reduce that rate, and it makes the patient more comfortable at home.
Okay.
And then to do that, we provide several services: physical therapy, rehab, occupational therapy, speech therapy, help with swallowing with stroke patients, things like that.
One of the things that I want to know, and you all are all in this field, so it's interesting as a lay person, I'm not even sure what rehospitalization means and why that would be a real problem to a lay person.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question. So rehospitalization is somebody that's been in the hospital for some kind of chronic issue or an acute issue, and they go back in after they're discharged home. They go back in within 30 days.
Got it.
So
see, you guys are all like, yeah, I get it.
It's bad for the patient because you want to be home, you want to feel better, you know, and that's usually most of the time it stems from the original cause. So it's mismanagement at home, medication errors, caretakers just not very well educated.
We don't know what we don't know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we like to put that healthcare professional in the home, either it be a rehab person or a skilled nurse, even social work at times. The main issue with medications, you can't get them refilled. Either it's a price issue or an insurance issue or a ride to the pharmacy.
Right.
So we try to stick that social worker in there to work those problems out.
Who makes the decisions as to whether you need OT, PT?
They have, so the discharge planners at the hospital.
Okay.
And with the doctor's orders, the doctor usually decides as well. And so they'll put on there, you know, whether they need physical therapy, occupational therapy. And in some cases, we can come in and one of our clinicians may say we need to pull physical therapy in because they're having an unsteady gait or a little weakness.
Okay.
And then we'll just go back to the doctor and get it signed on at that point.
And there's a lot, you know, I know with Medicare, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just like there's certain diagnoses, certain like COPD and things like that Medicare is really looking at and targeting in on, that you're going to get, the hospital's going to be penalized on this when they come back within that window.
If they read
within 30 days,
okay, all right.
So the hospitals are really putting together community efforts with folks like Pruitt and so forth, and Right at Home and people like us to get together to do the things that Travis is talking about. Because a lot of times it's the simple stuff, like you said, just getting to the doctor after.
Right, exactly.
Right. Absolutely.
And they were ready to discharge at that time. I mean, there was nothing more that they needed for
So
hospital
are you
care.
all the continuum of care?
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely. And that's what we take pride in with Pruitt Health, because we have so many lines of service.
Okay.
Sometimes they're not appropriate for a hospital stay, and they're not appropriate for home. So we do have skilled nursing facilities and assisted livings just to get people back on their feet so they feel strong enough to go back home. We don't want to go in reverse and go back to the hospital. Hospital's an awesome resource for certain things, but you don't want to fall backwards in the
and it's
healing
tough on
process.
It's tough on our senior community because it's not like if they get sick, they're just going to drive themselves back. A lot of times they've got transportation. Their children live out of town. So we really, it even helps their kids because they know that, all right, if they're in the home, I feel like someone's keeping an eye on them.
We're the eyes in the hospital for the family and the providers. We try to keep close contact with the primary care doctors and the specialties. Like you said, COPD, so we want a pulmonologist in there.
Yes.
We want that dose and, you know,
Do you guys set all
things.
that up and actually kind of act as the, I don't want to say primary caretaker, the emotional support or the physical or the clinical support, where I may be as the daughter, the emotional support, you all are doing more the clinician kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a good way?
We're emotional too. I
Yeah.
call daughters, granddaughters every day.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Well, that's probably very true.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of
Yeah, we
folks
get
do
that.
not have the Debbies of the world with their parents. A lot
Okay.
of times,
Sure,
like you
absolutely.
mentioned, the parents, they don't have anyone here. And
right.
so they depend on third parties and so forth like us to go in and do that. And a lot of hospitals are very proactive. I mean, the Hilton Head Hospital, I know we all sit on the same it's called the readmission boards.
Right,
And the
okay.
hospital takes the approach of bringing everyone together to be proactive and work together with that discharge process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys were talking about is it rehab or orthopedics, things like that?
Yeah.
How does that work, William?
So another key benefit to our home health is you have a lot of surgeries here as hip replacements, knee replacements, shoulder replacements. Well, they're going to leave that hospital and either go to outpatient or they're going to come to us.
Okay.
And the great thing about home health is as soon as you have that surgery, now you've got a post-op dressing that needs changing,
Okay.
that needs to be seen. And you want to go straight home because you run a lot less chance of infection without
more
being out.
comfortable.
You run
Yeah.
a lot less chance of maybe re-injuring that area from a
Regressing in your
transfers. And so what we like to do is, at least a couple of weeks of in-home patient rehab.
In-home patient rehab.
And then we'll transfer them to outpatient. So that continuum of care goes from the hospital to us and then into outpatient.
Can we take a quick break and then come back and sort of continue this discussion? I think the more we're learning, the more questions
Sure.
there are. Stay with us. We'll be right back.